Hello, and welcome to the Becoming a Woman of Proverbs Wisdom Clinic. I am your author and coach, Nadira Lewis, and I want to welcome you to Wellness Tuesdays. And I am here with none other than my international holistic wellness and health coach, Sharmane Harris, who has been attending us and blessing us with her presence here every Tuesday, sharing with us about the importance of health and how it works together with our mindset and incorporating it in so many other areas of our life. And today, Charmaine's going to really help us with. You know what? That area that we struggle with the most is digestive health. And so Charmaine's going to share with us how maintaining a good digestive health affects your gut. Some of us, we're walking around, we have leaky guts, we have big stomachs, and we don't realize that no matter how hard we work to do exercise, and that stuff is good, but there's some internal things that we have to do to make sure that we're working together with it and that we're not going against the main thing that is the detoxing and making sure that we're taking care of the inside. It's kind of crazy because that applies to almost every area of our life. You can do all the things that you want to do externally, but there are some things internally that has to be dealt with in order to see outward results. So Charmaine, thank you for joining us. Thank you for gracing your presence here with us here in the Wisdom Clinic. Talk to us about this digestive health.
Definitely. Well, thank you for having me as always. And basically, the topic today is the digestive system and the importance of that. Some of you may not know, but I was diagnosed with a skin condition called lichen planus um, around the November 2017. Now, lichen planus I was told by doctors that less than 2% of the world's population is diagnosed. And the symptoms that it caused were my hair was falling out. It caused literally rapid pigmentation from my scalp all the way down to my toes. It actually stopped like right here. So my whole body was just completely covered. The itching was so intense, my skin would bleed and burn. The inside of my mouth was hurting. So it caused a lot of external things to happen. But when I went to the doctor, they told me that it was incurable, that they didn't know what was going on. They could do all these possible medical treatments. And in all reality, I just didn't want to feel like a lab rat in a sense. I didn't want to feel like they were experimenting on me, knowing that, I had a history of already having a lot of medications in my past, being in the military and always being sick and things like that. So I've already taken a lot of medications. But what I do now is I'm a holistic health and wellness coach, because that what I found when going through my journey from getting diagnosed to going, I had to go a more natural route in order to alleviate the symptoms and actually reverse what was going on with my body. Um, and like I said, that leads me to today. But what I found was basically my internals, my gut, my intestines, my colon, and all the cells in my body became extremely inflamed one by one. If they became extremely inflamed, and also that my gut had some, it's called leaky gut syndrome, is where the stomach linings, your body is so filled with toxins and chemicals and parasites and waste. Over time, the lining in the stomach starts to thin from all these different things, okay? And that can include things like processed foods, smoking, drinking, medication, pollution, things, just a lot of those things like that. So, what I want to do before I go into the meat and potatoes of talking about the digestive system, I actually want you guys to imagine something, okay? And this is how I'm going to break this down. Imagine a trash bag, right? So the trash bag is going to represent the digestive system, or as most people believe it to be, just the stomach, which is not. So the trash bag is the stomach, okay? And imagine the trash can. The trash can is your colon, okay? So what tends to happen is we tend to put trash inside of our bodies. Oh, yeah, trash inside of our bodies. So the trash, when we're putting trash inside the trash can, that's where it goes, correct? So we have the trash is the processed foods. It's the smoking, it's the drinking, again, it's the pollution, it's the medication, things like that. Okay, so we put those things in our bodies. Now, what happens when you take trash and you keep putting them in there in the trash can? What happens is it overflows, right? And then if you still don't dump it, what happens? There's gnats and flies, okay? If it sits too long, if it sits too long. So the gnats and flies that I'm talking about represents the parasites in our bodies, okay? So over time we actually develop these parasites from all this waste that's going on in our body. And what do we and most of the time we don't realize that we even have parasites in our body. So we still continue to consume these things, all this waste. And then sometimes what happens is we tend to gain weight, we get a cold, we might develop a small rash, something minor externally will happen that because your cells are getting attacked. So something happens and it turns on this light and you're just like, oh my gosh, I got to do something. So you do things like, okay, well, I gained this weight. Maybe I'll start eating once a day. Or maybe I'll try a keto diet or this type of diet, Mediterranean or something like that. And then we have right now where a lot of people are buying sea moss because it's basically trending without the actual knowledge to know how to properly consume it. But we're consuming all these things, right? Because we want to get these results. But in the meantime, again, you're still consuming. You're not dumping anything. You're thinking you're doing the right thing by hitting these diets and doing all these things and changing your eating habits. But what you're really doing is taking, like, let me see, I'm gonna use this for example. So what you're really doing is you're taking the trash, this big piece of trash, right? And you stuff the trash can with it. So what you're doing at this point is you're basically just a little at a time, a
Wow.
little at a time. This is the diets. This is the quick fixes. Those are those 5 a day, 10 detox, all these things, when we decide we want to eat once a day or something like that. But again, in the meantime, you're still consuming. You're just doing it a little bit at a time. And then what happens? You have the gnats and the flies in the trash bag, and the trash is overflowing and all these things, right? So what eventually happens? What eventually happens is the bag tears, right? That trash bag is going to eventually tear. You're going to try to lift it out, it's going to tear. And that's where the leaky gut syndrome comes in at. And
Mhm.
that's where other types of illnesses can enter your body and affect your body. Okay. And so at this point, you're walking around with leaky gut syndrome and all these and the illness. So you get this illness, and now what do you want to do? You want to call the doctor. You're sick. I want to call the doctor. And what the doctor comes in and does, the doctor comes in and instead of again dumping that trash, getting to the root cause of the problem, the doctor is just going to put some tape over those tears.
Mm.
It's a band-aid. That's what the doctors are going to do. So basically that represents the medication, which is only going to temporarily seal you up. So you feel like, oh, you're good to go, but then it's really you're not good to go. So you continue to consume. We're still consuming things, and
Mhm.
you go into this repeated cycle of illness over time. It just this repeated cycle. I don't feel good. I feel good. I don't feel good. And I know because I went through it when I was serving in the military. I that's exactly what I was doing with my body. I was going on these diets. I'm like, oh, I gotta work out, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. So, I was just doing all this temporary stuff, and then I would get sick and I'm like, oh, I need to go to the doctor, and they're giving me medication. I'm like, oh yeah, medication. And I don't realize how much harm that I was doing to my body. And like I said, you keep calling a doctor until you get told the doctors tell you, well, I don't know. We don't know. Maybe it's an autoimmune condition. Then they throw you in that category of having an autoimmune condition instead of
Mm.
actually getting to the root cause of
Yeah.
what's going on with your body. So that's where a lot of people are at right now. They're going into this repeated cycle of losing weight and then bringing it back, and then this repeated cycle of illnesses, and then okay, I went into remission. Instead of actually reversing the condition, they go into a state of managing in it because they're told by science that they can't heal. Like I was told, like, oh well, it's incurable. And I okay, that's what science says. But guess what? My beliefs said something different.
Mm.
And to be able to apply that and to be able to get the results that I did and to help other people do the same thing, And like I said, it didn't just help with like in plainness. When I became more aware of my digestive system and things I was putting in my body and how it affected my body, that is actually when I noticed that other things where my hair was growing back, my skin was just becoming really bright. And then, just a few other things like I had diagnosed with early arthritis. My knees, my knees are good to go now, like, and that's our
Wow.
reality. And like, I never knew that because my knees, I had pretty bad knees like my whole 20s of being in your
Wow.
whole 20s of being in the military. Like my knees, like I could bend them and they popped and cracked and all this stuff. They don't do that anymore. And I think that's amazing. I'm like, wow. So it wasn't just one thing that being aware of my digestive system, what I was putting in my body and how it affected. It's actually the knowledge and understanding, of the digestive system. And you don't have to be a doctor to understand and know the basic essentials of how the human body works. And that's exactly what I did. I was able to go in and I started off by just watching health documentaries on Netflix.
Mm,
That's how I start. I was just like, I'm gonna finally sit and watch this. Obviously, it's something in my body that needs to come out, that's
mm,
reflecting externally. But a
mm,
lot of people, what they do is they simply go and they try to focus on putting lotions on their body and creams on their body and getting acupuncture and all these things to alleviate. But it's like it's not getting to the root cause. And that's why we
mm,
often go through this cycle of, oh, well, I did this, I tried this, and it didn't work, you know. So that's basically the importance of knowing the digestive system. It can literally save your life. It can literally save you from developing further illnesses, because now you're more aware,
mhm.
and that's where I'm at. I'm more aware. So I reap the results. I used to be sick 8 months out of the year.
Oh, wow.
8 months out of the year, I was constant cyanitis, this hurt,
Wow.
that hurt, mucus here, mucus there, my face hurt, my neck hurt, my back. Like it was always something going
Oh,
on with my
wow.
body. And to go from that, I
Wow.
have been sick. I've been sick maybe once for like a few
Wow.
hours, because I feel it in my
Wow.
body now that my body's more aware. I feel it. So going from being
Yeah.
sick eight months out the year to once in the past year and barely,
Mhm,
and being
mhm,
able to know how to handle that is
mm.
amazing. It's a journey. It is definitely a journey. But
Wow.
when most people, yeah, it's definitely a journey. But yeah, when most people, think of the digestive system, they instantly think of the stomach. But the
Mm.
digestive system actually begins in the mouth. What you put in your
Wow.
mouth. Yeah, that's the first point of entry. Because that's the first point of entry is what you're putting in your
Wow.
mouth. And then we go down and we have those the saliva glands, to help you produce, spit and the mucous membrane and things like that. Then it goes down to the esophagus. And then when the esophagus is inflamed,
Mhm.
what tends to happen is you feel a tightness in your chest or you feel like a burning sensation. And
Wow.
it's just like, that's where a lot of acid reflux, I've been diagnosed with that too. Acid reflux and GERD and all that stuff. That's where a lot
Mhm,
of that sensation comes in at when we have
mhm.
excess phlegm and mucus in our esophagus.
Oh,
Also,
wow.
the digestive system is the liver, the gallbladder, then
Mhm,
the stomach, the pancreas, the large and small intestines, your appendix, your rectum, and
mhm.
your anus. So that makes up
Oh, gosh.
your digestive system. So
Mhm.
it's a lot going on, and a lot of people are not aware of that. So we say digestive system, we're thinking of our stomach, but actually it's a whole from point of entry on down, from the point where the food comes in at and how it breaks down into smaller components until they can be absorbed or like assimilated in the body, basically. And a lot of people don't realize our bodies are organic. Our bodies are organic. And when we put things in our bodies, such as toxins or those things absorb into the different components and they affected our organs either positively or negatively, But overall, it's what you're consuming. Again, from point A down to point G, which is the stomach, and it's further broken down into the colon if it's waste. Now, you have to really watch, and that's why I stress the importance of watch what you're consuming. Watch because we don't often think that it's going to affect us that much. I want you to think about like the process of a cheeseburger from McDonald's. think about how that breaks down into all those different components and how that would affect literally like everything in your body. Because a lot we tend to believe that when we consume something, it
Mhm.
goes straight to our stomach and we go straight to the bathroom.
Mhm.
And that's simply not true. That's simply not how it works. It goes through that process. It has to go through a process, and you have to ask yourself, how is this going to affect my lymphatic system, my liver, my blood vessels, things like that. And I know we that's not something that an average person thinks about. They're just like, I'm hungry, I'm going to eat this, I'm good to go. But when you become more aware, like I said, it's
Mhm.
like an awakening. It's like, I don't know, but food
Mhm.
definitely, it also stays in the stomach for like 2 to 4 hours. And but if it's more of like a protein or fat, it stays in your stomach a lot longer. But what happens is the nutrients spread throughout the body, and it's either going to fuel the body, or it's basically going to get packed into the colon. So when
Mhm.
we eat something, we automatically think, oh, it's going to come out, but it simply does not come out. That's not how it works. It's either going to process into the colon as a waste, and then the rest of it is going to basically like I said, it's going to fuel your body or attack the liver, the kidney, the gallbladder, all that stuff. It's going to turn into like a toxin or a waste.
Mhm.
So that's how it affects the body. But if you ever heard someone say like, oh, I went to this restaurant and I ate this and it came right on out afterwards, it really didn't. It didn't come out afterwards, because what it did is it's packing up and backing up. That's what I'm saying. It's packing up and backing up into your colon, causing inflammation and excess mucus, which causes illnesses and weight issues and things like that, because our colon can actually hold up to 20 pounds of waste. Just our colon alone. Our
Wow.
colon is about 5 feet long. Yeah, I'm about 5 feet. So yeah, it's about my height. It's about five
Oh
feet
my
long.
gosh.
Yeah, that's about how the average human colon is, about 5 feet long. So you have to think, if we're consuming 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, plus snacks, plus drinking, smoking, and whatever else activity people have going on a regular basis, and you're not taking a bowel movement, not even once a day, how could you possibly believe that what you just instantly ate just magically pushed out through your body and came out?
Oh my gosh.
No, that it's being backed up into your colon, causing inflammation and mucus. It does not come out that fast. What's coming out is what you probably ate a week ago, especially depending on how bad your
Wow.
colon is backed up. Because
Oh
5 feet, three
wow.
meals a day, and if you're not regular, yeah, that's what happens. So it's like the trash can analogy. You take the trash can and you lift the trash can up. What's coming out the trash can is not what you just put at the top. It's what's at the bottom that's coming out. So yeah. A lot of people don't realize that. And that brings me to my next point of how it's breaking down.
Mhm.
So you have to really ask yourself, are these things that I'm consuming causing inflammation and excess mucus? And if you don't know, simply the answer is yes. If you're getting sick, and I know this from experience to be true, from my story that I shared, part of my journey that I shared. I was getting sick because my body was constantly inflamed and mucus. You have to think, when you first
Mm.
get a sinus infection,
Mhm.
what happens? All this flares up and it's mucus. So
Right.
basically, Dr. Sebi said it best. I'm gonna put this right out. He said it best. When mucus goes to your nostrils, they call it sinusitis. He says when mucus go to your bronchial tube, they call it bronchitis. When mucus goes to your lungs, they call it pneumonia. Because think about COVID
Mm.
19. All those people that were
Right.
diagnosed with COVID
Yeah.
19, the doctors were the first one saying that it was caused because of mucus inflammation in
Mm.
the lungs. And he
Wow.
also said that if mucus
Do you guys
affects
hear this? This is some good stuff. Like, this is some good stuff. You guys have any questions, put it in the chat and Charmaine will answer them during after the broadcast. But oh wow, that's good, Charmaine. Go ahead. Go ahead. Don't let me interrupt.
You're
Wow.
good. Yes, it was mind blowing learning it and just actually applying the methods that I teach in my course and actually getting those results. It's like this is true though. I know this to be
Mm,
true because I went through it myself. So it's just like it's mind blowing when you think about it. It's like wow. But he also said when mucus goes to the prostate gland, they call it prostatitis. And then if mucus goes to the uterus of a woman, that means she'll get like yeast infection, vaginal
mm,
discharge, or endometriosis also.
mm.
Mhm.
So you women that are dealing with endometriosis, you might want to think about the fact that it's probably mucus that's causing that. That is huge. Wow.
Mucus, phlegm, inflammation, yes, yes, in the
Wow.
body, we have to get that out. So, definitely to bring awareness, ask yourself, are the things, that you consume processed, or is it refined sugar, or is it more of a natural sugar? And the simple way to understand that is if it sits on a shelf and it doesn't go bad for years, it's refined and processed.
Mm,
Because anything organic or natural cannot sit around for too long. Imagine when a fruit falls off the tree
right.
and then you go see it that day, it falls off the tree, and then you come back. The same thing should be happening, like, within our bodies and the things that we're putting on the body, like in the body. So if you take a candy bar, you put it on the ground and you come back, or put it on the table, and you come back a week later, it's still gonna be sitting there on the table. Look at how it's gonna be looking. So
Wow.
that's how you know if things are refined or if it's processed and if it's actually good for your body. Another thing is if you don't have access to a farmer's market, I also recommend like people start going to farmers market. The majority of your basket when you shop at a grocery store, since the majority of the stores are processed anyway, the what you should be doing is shopping around the store where they have the fruit and vegetable area at also. You want to ask yourself, are the things you're consuming providing vitamins and minerals, the fresh fruit, the fresh greens, things like that. And you want to make sure that you are providing your body with these things for vitality, for energy, for growth. And that's another reason why I work with a wide variety of herbs, is because the herbs is what I use to repair your internals, your cells.
Mm.
That's the whole thing about that with working with
Okay. Okay.
uh, it's it's not the answer. It's simply not going to really help just simply changing what you're eating, because
Mm,
so much damage has been done internally because of you have to think like the environmental factors alone,
mm.
play a key factor, excuse me, nowadays, the environment alone. I can say buy organic and buy fresh. I can say these things, but with the crops being sprayed with pesticides and natural
Yeah.
pollution, there's honestly no way to keep your body fully 100% toxin free at all times, because we know we need some of that good bacteria in our body for it to function. But that's why, again, I work with herbs because they are natural, they're organic, and they're from the earth. You know, so that's a positive about working with that. But in conclusion, with that whole situation, it goes back to the trash can. If you really have to focus on identifying,
Mhm,
dumping,
mhm,
cleansing, and repairing, because you take the trash bag and you dump it, right? But
mhm,
then it tore. So then you have all this waste in the trash can, and
mm,
that's your colon. You can't just dump that. Now you have to clean it out. And the part that a lot of people miss is the repairing part. They
mm.
don't think about the damage that has already done to your digestive system. And I know when working with people with lichen planus, other people, some of them have this pigmentation on their face. Some of them have the pigmentation on their face. But I'm able to identify that's because the toxins are sitting in your blood, in your blood, in your lymphatic system, and it's going actually through your blood vessels and things like that, especially if you're dealing with it's called oral lichen planus that affects your mouth and things like that.
Oral
So I'm
lichen
able to,
planus? There's a such thing as oral
yeah,
explain to us
it's
what that is.
different.
What is
It's also oral lichen planus is when people, because there's different types of lichen planus. I happen to get all of them, all of them
that?
except the face, except the pigmentation on the face. But I've gotten, there's oral lichen planus that just affects the mouth. You
Mhm.
have lichen planus that just affects people's nails. You
Wow.
have lichen planus that you get the pigmentation, or you get like a discoloration on your private areas. You get
Mhm.
discoloration there, and itching, and then you have the bumps and different
Mhm.
things like that. So for me, I experienced all of those, and I know people come to me that's also dealing with lichen planus, and they're just like, well, I have this type of lichen planus. I have this type. Can
Mhm.
you help me with this? I didn't get the pigmentation like you got. I got this. Can you
Mhm.
help me with this? I can help you with all of it because I've experienced all of it, and I know how to get rid of it, and I have helped others do the same. So
Right.
definitely there is a process, but it's hard to believe. Like I said, when you're
Mhm.
going against doctors who's telling you that there is
Mhm.
no way, we don't know, we can't help you. I have doctors write me all the time to ask me how I did
Wow.
it.
So what exactly explain to us what oral lichen planus is. I'm curious to know.
So that's when you get lichen planus, but it happens inside the side of your mouth. You might get like little patches on the side of your mouth. It hurts really bad, little bumps around your mouth. Your gums are really inflamed and sensitive, and you're just kind of like, the mouth just hurts really bad. So that's what oral lichen planus is. Yes, that's what that is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That
Yeah.
is crazy. It's crazy because you've really studied this. This isn't something that, you have different people that study different things about health and have just pretty much even though they may know different things, they don't really teach it in a sense where they actually break it down to the point to where not only it affects just what you eat, but how you think, your habits, and it's not something because it's like you said, it's not something that we have certain illnesses in our body that didn't just come overnight. And I'm assuming that to see transformation, we see TV and TV teaches us that all we have to do is just get surgery to get this done. And
Right.
that help that, all we have to do, we are trained to want things done our way, like Burger King. We want things done quickly, fast, because we don't like the results. And it's funny because I don't know if you ever watched it, but I was watching, I like to watch My 600 Pound Life.
Mhm.
And I always am intrigued by the doctor when he's sitting down with them and they're getting frustrated with him because he's taking them through a diet change before he actually does the surgery. He's teaching them about how to learn how to discipline to eat right, because what purpose is it to have all this surgery done and you still don't change the way you see food? And he not only deals with how you think, but the people that are around you, helping them realize that you didn't get here just because you put a few pieces of extra chicken in your mouth. This was, trauma. You've had some trauma, some different things happen that conditioned you to go to eating as a way to comfort the trauma and different things that you went through. So there are some things people think, oh, I'm fine. I just, I'm not dealing with that anymore. But it's like you said in the previous conversation, your body holds trauma,
Yes.
internally. There's things that's why it's important to make sure that your mind
Yes.
is that you have good mental health as well. And I'm not talking about just, in affirmations. I'm talking about really paying attention to, just as and intentional about putting things in your mouth. You have to be just as intentional about what you put in your mind, about what goes in your eye gate and your ear gate, because everything is affected. Even when you think about David in the Bible, and David was, he told him, he said, look, I mean, Daniel, he said, I think it was Daniel David, when he said, I'll give me just fruits and vegetables. He wanted to prove to the king that, to King Nebuchadnezzar that, he didn't want to eat the chosen meat that they had for him. And he said, just give me fruits and vegetables. Just give me, just give me this and see what's going to happen in a certain amount of days. And they saw his skin, his skin was changed. Everything about how he felt was changed. And I know there's a lot of different examples about the eating habits and stuff that were in the Bible, but this was just a little bit to show us how important it is. We live in a society today where everything is fast food, quick, now in a hurry, because we don't have time for anything. We don't even have time to eat right. All we have time to do is make money and go. We don't have the patience for anything, not realizing that this stuff is really breaking down our body and we are dying earlier and earlier. When I had my colonoscopy done and I saw that huge thing I was like, there's no way she's sticking that thing upside of me. That thing looked like it was about 5 feet tall. I was like, oh no. She was like, we're gonna put you to sleep. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna have to knock me out because there's no way you're sticking that thing all the way on the side of me. But when I listen to you say how our colon is like 5 feet tall, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the exact same thing that was happening to me. I couldn't go to the bathroom for weeks. And I was normally regular. And I couldn't go to the bathroom for weeks, no matter what I ate. I've tried to do all kinds of stuff. And I realized, I'm in trouble. Because if it's not coming out, something's up. And when I started going through the process of them, of fasting and cleaning my body out with the stuff that they gave me so that I can have it done, I tell you, it's like ever since then, I feel like my body is like brand new. So it's like I went in the grocery store now, right, Sharmane? I went in the grocery store, especially since I knew we were doing the show. I was going down the aisle, I was like, don't want to look at that. Nope, I ain't trying to eat that. Nope, I don't want that. It's like I don't even have that desire. And then yesterday I was feeling so sick, as I was saying earlier, my stomach was hurting so bad. And I was like, oh my gosh, and I knew I had started to keep a journal of what I eat. So that I can go back. We don't journal or we don't take note of everything that we eat. So when we have different things that go on in our body, it's hard for us to identify when you figure out, I don't know. I ate all of this. I was able to quickly look at my body and say, okay, this is what I ate that was a little bit different than what I normally ate. That may have affected my body the way it did. So, I'm gonna have to go through, like you said, that repair, sit back and so pay attention. She knows what she's talking about. You definitely want to listen to her. Definitely want to listen to her.
And I know my program might take you on a journey through that self awakening process so that you have clarity. So it's not a process that you go through. I'm like, oh yeah, eat this, eat that, you good to go. We start with the mindset, and most programs don't do these things because nowadays, like you said, everything is a quick fix. Everything is a temporary result, and nothing's sustainable. And that's the key. Nothing's sustainable. And it just kills me when they're like, I take this tea and I drink this and I take these supplements for 10 days and I use the bathroom and I lost 5 pounds, girl. But I guarantee you in about 30 days, you're going to be in a repeated cycle because you're not really, it's something temporary. And what I teach is how you are able to sustain these results, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Most people, again, they go from just identifying that they have an issue to just switch into what they're consuming, and beliefs that they're good to go, and beliefs that, not thinking about the damage again that has been done due to their previous choices that they've made of consuming things, like you said, it's music and toxic, and all these other things play a role. So in my program, it is called Heal by Nature. The Heal is actually an acronym. The H stands for habits, the E stands for educate, the A stands for achieve, and the L stands for lifestyle. And those are the 4 milestones that we actually go through when I'm working with you, because it starts mentally. It's a mindset thing. Definitely, for sure, because if you're one of those people, and that's why I work with open-minded people that, because everybody doesn't want your help.
Right.
So I'm willing, I'm definitely willing to listen, but I have to work with open-minded people, because if you're just one of
Right.
those people like, I don't want to learn nothing new, and I tried everything. If you're one of those people, you're just like, oh, I
Got
tried
your mind
everything.
made up already? What you got your mind made up already and you hadn't even followed through what you said yet? That's the thing. You
Right,
have to listen. You have to listen because if what you're doing all this time isn't working, until you get tired. That's the only way you'll
right,
make a change. And when you get tired.
right,
So
right.
in your process, how long when you go through your program, your
Mhm.
Heal by Nature program, how long does it take for the average person to see results in their life in terms of weight loss, in terms of just overall health in
Right.
general?
So generally overall, the process, I know when I'm working with people with lichen planus and things like that, they usually see progress within a 90-day window, but that's consistency, that's discipline,
Gotcha.
all those things, applying the actual information that I'm giving them and not picking and choosing what they want to apply. That's
Mm,
convenient for their life. They like, okay, she knows what she's gotten results. I'm gonna do it. So the average person does get results within about a 90-day window. Physical transformation can happen in 30 days, but you will not be
wow.
able to sustain that physical process without having the mindset and the drive to do it, and the habits and the discipline, because motivation is not going to it's going to have you here, but it's not going to keep you there.
You hear that, guys? So if you want to see, if you have that mindset of I need to see quick results, her results aren't necessarily quick, but if you can grasp the mindset behind the change, if you can grasp that reality quickly, then your results outwardly will start to reflect what goes on internally. That's powerful. Like,
Yeah,
wow, that's
yeah,
powerful. In
yeah.
your life, how long did it take you? Because with you having lichen planus, how long did it take you to see results in your life from start to finish? Did it take 90 days for you, or was it because you had to
Mhm.
do a little bit more studying? Did it take
I
longer?
Yeah, I wish I wish it was 90 days, but I know when I was diagnosed, there wasn't coaches out there like me doing what I
Mm.
do.
Mhm,
Everybody was just it was a community of people that was just really sad and really,
mhm,
like, wanting help and things like that. So, me having, served in the military, it's like that natural stand up leadership thing where I'm
mhm,
like, okay, these people need help. I've gone through it, let me come in and just kind of, even though my skin was pigmented, and I still had a picture where I was just, cheesing and smiling, because I just wanted
wow.
to inspire people. I wanted to give other people hope, even though I hadn't gone through my journey yet. But my journey from start to finish, I was diagnosed November 2017. I started looking into changing as soon as I was diagnosed. I was going on Google and looking up
Mhm,
who, what, where, why, when,
mhm,
and how. 2018, that's when I started watching a lot of health documentaries and becoming more aware, because I was like, okay, I know something internally is going on that I have to push out. So in 2018, I temporarily stopped eating meat. And that was not because somebody told me, it was because every time I went to the store to buy like chicken or buy a pack of ground beef, it stunk so bad. And I cooked it chicken one day and it was green on the inside. And I was like,
Oh,
oh my gosh, yeah. And that's what drove me to actually going in, because I was eating meat. It's called the AIP diet, and
oh,
autoimmune protocol. And
oh.
yeah, it's a diet strictly for like autoimmune protocols. And they tell you like to eat liver and certain types of meat and all this stuff. So I'm going in
Mm.
because it says it's the point of it, I guess, in bone broth. I guess the point of it is to thicken the lining of your stomach. But
Oh.
yeah, I did it. It didn't. It wasn't working. Because I still had the pigmentation going on in my skin. So I
Mm.
did that temporarily. So I went on Netflix and I started watching all these health documentaries, and I was like, oh my gosh, so mind blown, and it scared me enough to be like, okay, let me hold off on the meat. So I did
Mhm,
that in 2018, and I continued to study. And that's when
mhm,
I learned about herbs and Dr. Sabian, all these different things. So I knew that stress played a factor, and anxiety and depression, all these things that
mm.
we often go through in life. So that's when
Wow.
I kind of put everything together, and I said, okay, Sharmane, I didn't know anything about herbs at the time.
Mhm.
I knew nothing about herbs, but they said this is how you use them. This is what. So I started the practice of that, and I had to become my own guinea pig. And that's what
Mm.
I did. I was like, okay, I'm scared, but I'm gonna do it. So I went in January of 2019. I went and I had all of these herbs. It was herbal capsules because I didn't know how to use the loose leaf at the time at the beginning of my
Mhm.
journey. And so
Mhm.
I had all these herbal capsules of oil, and I was like, okay. And I did that in combination with just like the holistic part, the working out, the things of that nature. And I just combined all these things, and it took me a good January 2019. By February, like the second week of February, I had already lost 30 pounds. 20 pounds came out my waist, and 10 of it came from me working out.
Are you serious? Wow, 20 pounds from your waist?
Yep, from my waist, just my
Wow.
colon alone. And you can see it
Wow.
come out. So this is not something that's far fetched. You see the parasites come out your body. You see them in the
Really?
stools. You see, yes, you see your bowel.
Wow.
You see it. It comes out.
Guys, this is amazing. I don't know, the amount of information Sharmane is giving us today is really powerful. You talk about wanting a life change. You talk about wanting to have better skin. The outward things are great, but man, you've got to get on the inside and deal with that internal stuff. Wow, you can actually see the parasites.
Yes,
Wow. Oh my
yes,
gosh. That
yeah,
is like amazing.
yeah.
Wow.
And that's what we do in my program is just like hopefully, you get to that first milestone and it brings some form of where you're like, whoa, that clarity, that awareness, and that's why I love working with open-minded people that's willing to learn something new because it's like, okay, I don't know it all. I don't have it all figured out. If I did, I would be where I wanted to be, but I'm not
Mhm.
because, you got to learn something different. You got to do something different to achieve different results. So
Yeah.
it's the growth. The beautiful part about it, working with my clients, the growth,
Yeah.
the where they used to be at and where they're at now. And then I speak with them, and they're like, Charmaine, da da da. And I'm like, I feel so good. I'm like, oh my god. So it definitely worked. Yes,
Wow. I
for
have
sure.
two other questions for you
Hmm.
before we actually get come to our closing in a few minutes. But the first question I have, I hope I don't forget them. It just came to me as I'm thinking about it. Now, did your body go through a withdrawal process when you decided, okay, I'm going to eliminate meat from my body? Did you have headaches? Did you go through what type of withdrawals, if you had any, that you
Hmm.
had to go through? And then my
That's
second
that's
question, and then my second question is, I'm gonna ask you in case I forget. Then the second question is, when you're a mom, you're a single mom that has a daughter, so you've incorporated, I'm sure, your daughter into your lifestyle. I want you to talk to the mothers that are out there that have children, and because some of them might say, well, darn, I have kids. There's no way I'm going to be able to shop differently and shop two different. I don't have the finances to shop differently for me and different for my family. So give us some tips on what we can do as mothers to incorporate that diet into our children's life without shocking the heck out of them. And so those are my two questions, and I'll let you go ahead and answer them.
Okay, awesome. Those are really two good questions. So as far as the withdrawals, okay. So story time. I had a I had a lady who reached out to me and she was saying, I've tried everything. I did the lifestyle change, and I'm just like, well, my lifestyle change and your definition is two different things. However,
Yeah.
she was saying, well, I tried to stop eating meat and I got sick. And I
Mm,
said, you weren't getting sick. What was happening was your body goes through what is called detox crisis symptoms. A lot of people
mm,
give up when they get to that part because
mm,
they feel like they're getting sick and it's not working. I'm eating
mhm.
cheeseburgers. I stopped. I started eating salads. I got sick. I need to go back to eating cheeseburgers. And the crazy part about it is her doctor actually told her to go eat a cheeseburger.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's what she said. And I was just like, well, that's the wrong answer. Our bodies go,
Mm,
it's like our bodies have to go through that because what happens, the toxins come in our body and make us sick. They have to come out our body. That doesn't feel good. It's not going to feel good, because
mm,
it's poisons, it's toxins, it's chemicals, it's waste, it's all these things. Just like when you um eat something that upsets your stomach. When you go to the bathroom, it's pushing the waste out. It doesn't feel good when you go to the bathroom. You're not on the toilet talking about, woo, yeah. You're bending
right.
over. You're like, oh, this hurts. So it's not a
Mhm.
pretty process, but it's a process that's necessary. And I go through all that in my course too. It's a process that's definitely necessary. And there's a whole bunch of different symptoms and all these things. So I make you aware of those things prior to even going through the process. So there's no surprises.
Gotcha.
So
That's probably
that
what
as
happened to
far
me
as
this
the
week. That's what
yeah.
you and then I thought now that I'm listening to you talk, because I think most of the time we think when we're moving our bowels and it's not feeling good, you're not thinking that it's possible toxins that are probably trying to come out of your body because of your life, because you're changing some things that you eat. We tend to think something's wrong. I'm not
Mhm.
feeling great. My stomach is aching. And it's really your body's way of saying, hey, something's in there that's trying to get out. That's how.
Mhm. Right, exactly. Especially going through that process, and also as far as kids, I know for my daughter. Okay, so I want to put this out there. The earlier you get them to eat healthy, the easier it will be when they are little babies. When they are little babies, make sure that you're feeding them. But for as far as my daughter, because she's a little older, I get her involved. We go to the grocery store. She's still little, so she gets excited about everything. Hey, look at that fruit over there. We've never seen that before. Go pick out some fruit. Oh, okay, I'm gonna go. So you have to like get them
Yeah.
excited about it, get them involved in the kitchen. So that I know when I try to get my daughter to eat transition to salad, what I did, I bought the salad, went to the store. I said, hey, let's try something different. Let's try. She looked at the lettuce and she was like, I don't know about this. I said, but come on, we can go get some toppings. And so we got some cranberries and
Yeah.
all that good stuff. So she got excited about that. Go get a bag, put it in the bag. So she got excited about that. We went back home. I set everything out on the table like a buffet. And I'm like, let's make
Mm.
a salad. And she got really excited. So with kids, it's just you got to get creative. I know most people, they're like, oh, I'm going to sneak this in a smoothie. I'm going to sneak that. It's not about sneaking because you want to make sure that your kids are aware of what they're again, what they're consuming and the health benefits of what they're consuming. Their kids, it's easy to get them involved, get them excited, mix them, I don't know, some type of popsicles with something, healthy, and it
Mhm.
just get them involved. And when you realize when you actually get them involved in something new, it doesn't matter their age. They could be a teenager and be like, I don't know about that, mom. But when you get them involved, you get creative, they'll come
Mhm.
around. They will definitely come around. So.
Yeah, because I have chicken nugget eaters and pizza eaters, and so
Mhm.
but I have been incorporating some things that it's made it like I tried. Like my kids love chicken, like I do. So what we've been doing was trying to ease away from actual chicken and been doing like cauliflower wings. And
Mhm.
so, and I
Yeah.
found that cauliflower wings are actually I like them better than the wings.
Yes, and I'm gonna give you another thing. I'm gonna give y'all something. Oyster mushrooms. Oyster mushrooms. I've never liked mushrooms a day in my life.
Mhm.
But when I detoxed and cleansed and I was looking for different meat replacements, I found oyster mushrooms. You can go get them
Mm.
at your nearest like Asian market or something, but they are so good and you fry them in like grapeseed oil
Mhm.
and chickpea flour. And that's an amazing meat replacement. So that's something I want everyone to do. Go not the portobello mushroom. They taste so different from a white mushroom or a portobello mushroom. It's called an
Mhm.
oyster mushroom. They are
Mhm.
so delicious. They have king size ones and they have the ones that look like little flowers. But that's an awesome meat replacement. My daughter, she loves oyster mushrooms. She's like, Mom, can you make some fried mushrooms today? Or Mom, can you make
Wow.
some? Yeah, she loved it. She loves it. She's like, can you make some quinoa? She loves quinoa. She loves onion. She loves peppers. I had to basically slowly train her to get there though by incorporating. She never liked smoothies because, like I said, I was in the
Wow.
military buying all this stuff. So I just got her excited. Hey, you want to make your own smoothie? Let's go buy the fruit. She goes, gets the fruit, put it in the blender. She goes, put it in the blender. We just try a lot of different things. So that gets her excited and gets her involved in the process.
Yeah, I've noticed that when I've tried to, I'm slowly transitioning them. Like my son Adam, he's always been very good at choosing what he wants to eat, and he's always getting on me, Mom, no, proportions, proportions. And I used to be like, oh, I don't know about that. Hi, girls. Oh, hi, girls. They just
Talk
bust.
about the kids. There they go, right there.
Okay. But so yeah, they've actually so now when I make the cauliflower wings, they're like, oh, they don't even know the difference. They just know it tastes good. And I thought, well, there not everything is completely bad tasting. There are things that you can do to incorporate in their diet to, a little at a time. And I'm learning that. And they are actually, I'm surprised. They are liking it. So it can definitely be done. You just have to find creative ways and you have to be persistent. I think sometimes we start things and we don't stick with it.
Exactly.
So when they
Yeah.
don't see us sticking with it, then they start to feel like, well, if you're not doing it, I'm definitely not going to do it either.
Right. Right. Yes. Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
any last words, Sharmane, before we actually end our broadcast? Are you guys being blessed? Put some comments in the put some comments in the I'm just getting tongue twisted today. Put in the comments if you are actually enjoying this lesson. Okay. Okay. Put it in the comments if you have been enjoying Sharmane, as she's been really educating us on the importance of our digestive. And I like that you said it starts with what we put in our mouth. We think it's from the stomach. That was really a great nugget. So we thank you for just continuously being consistent and coming on here and helping us out. And I'm telling you guys, make sure you go to her website and sign up. Sign up to for her program. She has an amazing program where you can actually start somewhere. I know it's change is hard, but don't wait until you're on your sick bed. To decide that you want to change. Don't wait till you've been diagnosed with diabetes, or till you have high blood pressure, or till you just been diagnosed with cancer, or your body has been diseased. Don't wait until that time frame. Make the necessary changes now so you can live longer, to be there for your children, to be there for your purpose, for whatever it is that God has intended for you to do in this world. So start with make sure you go to her website below. It's healbynature.org. Make sure you go to her website and sign up for a DC coach. For a discovery call. Charmaine, did you have any last words that you wanted to say before we end?
I encourage you all to reach out to me so that we can start your journey and actually sustain those results so you can actually turn it into a lifestyle change. Okay.
All righty. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us here at the Wisdom Clinic for Wellness Tuesdays. Until next time, we will see you Friday at Sisterhood Check-In. Have a great week. Bye-bye.